This is Bucket Talk, a weekly podcast for people who work in the trades and construction that aren't just trying to survive, but have the ambition and desire to thrive. The opportunity in the trades and construction is absolutely ridiculous right now. So if you're hungry, it's time to eat. We discuss what it takes to rise from the bottom to the top with people who are well on their way and roll up their sleeves every single day.
On this week of Bucket Talk, we have Eli Vastbinder. Eli Vastbinder is a professional bull rider. Welcome, Eli.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here with you. Yeah, I've known you for a year or so through BRUNT, and glad to be a part of this.
Hell yeah. So give us a little background. I mean, obviously, you're an athlete at the highest level, but there's a lot to unpack early on and what you do in your day-to-day life. So run us through how you came across riding bulls, what you do on a daily basis, and go from there.
Yeah, I'm about to be 32 years old now. I'm living in Statesville, North Carolina, but I was born and raised in kind of central western Ohio, where I grew up in a rodeo family. I had some cousins and an uncle and grandparents that, rodeoed and rode bulls. And so, I just kind of grew up in it. Didn't really know anything else. Most kids at that age were going to soccer games or football games on the weekend. And me and my brothers, we were, head to the rodeos. So, yeah, I just kind of grew up in it. There wasn't nothing, as long as I can remember, it's what I've wanted to do. And it's, something that I've chased since I was able to walk. And so, yeah, but growing up there, it wasn't that easy. It's kind of an area where it's not just a huge, popular thing. So, I kind of moved to North Carolina after turning 18. I moved to Texas and North Carolina and moved around and kind of got in where I fit in and met some, I just kind of kept finding guys that were better than me, whether they were living in Texas or Tennessee, wherever I could kind of find the best group of guys to be around and to, get to where I was wanting to go. That's where I kind of moved. I moved to Texas, Tennessee, North Carolina, back to Texas, Oklahoma, and just kind of kept jumping around to find, the next best guy to be around. And then I ended up meeting my wife in North Carolina, and it's where I've been ever since.
Awesome. So it sounds like you obviously jumped around a lot, but walk me through how you do livestock handling and how you actually got into the livestock business itself. Do you have horses at home? Did you grow up in that? Like, let's go.
I did. I grew up in that. My mom, she was, kind of a barrel racer and kind of in with the horses and so I grew up riding horses, and I team roped and calf roped and steer wrestled, and did other events other than just riding bulls, so I grew up horseback but like my uncles and my cousins, they all rode bulls, and then after they were done riding bulls, they started them a rodeo company. And by the time it kind of took off, I was, probably 11 or 12. And, we owned the bulls, we owned all the stock for the rodeos. And so I was always, feeding, bulls and cattle and horses and going and setting up at the rodeos. And I kind of was the behind the scenes, the kid that was running around, that was just kind of probably getting in everybody's way, at the rodeo. That was me, I looked up to all them guys, and I'm literally living a dream, everything that, even my problems today, even the things I complain about, at that point in time back then, I was dreaming of having these problems. So, I'm literally living a dream.
Yeah, it's funny. I got a 6-year-old and, obviously he's up here on the horse farm and, people will be tacking up or going for a ride and he's jumping out of haylofts and spooking horses and he's always getting yelled at. And I always wonder, like, do I need that straight-laced kid that wants to muck stalls or do whatever, or is this kid gonna make it? in the horse world.
Yeah. It's a good way to grow up. The Western lifestyle, horses, cattle, it doesn't matter. You just get them out of the video games and get them outside and they'll be just fine.
Yeah, it's hysterical. We got him a little pony, and his sister decides to lead rope him around, but he doesn't want to tack up. He'll just ride bareback, and there's no posting, there's no nothing. He's just getting just smacked along the whole way around, and he he loves every minute of it.
Yeah, shoot, maybe I try putting him on a bull. That's my everyday routine of trying to stay in shape to ride bulls is riding my horses bareback. Every day in the evenings, before I feed, I just pull one out and jump on, and lope some circles and trot around a little bit, and it kind of just it's the closest thing you're gonna get to bull riding is getting on a live animal is getting on a horse like that.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I'm new to this livestock agriculture space, and I always love to pick people's brains. But like, what was one of the most challenging things for you, growing up and learning about bulls? Was it anatomy? Was it veterinarian care? Like, what was a big challenge for you?
Oh shoot, for me, like I would say, as in veterinarian, there's just so much, I mean,
Right,
I think anybody, if you own an animal, nobody really understands if it's sick, what exactly to give it, whether it's a cat or dog, cow, horse, you know, um, it's just so much could be wrong with it anymore. But, yeah, that's something I struggle with. But, it's just, my biggest struggle for me would probably say be living that lifestyle of being a farmer or rancher and then also being a dad and then also being a professional bull rider.
a
You know
lot.
that that's it's just a lot. I'm trying to start me my own place, and we just built a house and we've got some land and we're running a handful of cows that have calves and we have a couple other properties that are spread out around my house. So and then by the time I take care of all the animals and then be a dad and then, put them to bed and then go back out to the barn for, another 2 or 3 hours and get my training in, that's the toughest part for me, with all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine. I mean, I travel probably once a month, with BRUNT and, just being away for a week or a weekend or whatever, it's a lot. I couldn't imagine being away for every weekend.
Yeah, I usually get home Mondays afternoons and I'm home Tuesday, Wednesday. The majority of the time I fly back out Thursday and, I'm gone all week and this is every week, so
Every week.
yeah. So it's tough to to make sure everything's took care of in those just 2 or 3 days.
So how long have you been a professional bull rider, at least on the PBR circuit?
Oh, well, just on the PBR, I've been with them since 2017 or 18.
Okay.
Um, I take that back. I take that back. Since 2020, I've
Okay.
been with them since 2020. 2000 from about 2011 till 2019 or 2020. I was with the PRCA, the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, which is um, it is the barrel racing, the bronc riding, the roping, the bull riding. It's the professionals of the whole entire rodeo,
Now
rather than the PBR is just the bull riding.
now would you consider and you don't have to answer this question, but it's just curiosity's sake. Would PBR be more than the PRCA, or is it completely different?
It's completely different, but I mean, if you want to look at it as in money wise or the possibilities of money and earnings, yeah, the PBR is gonna pay you a lot more to be number one in the world than it is the PRCA. Mostly just because the PBR is all their money is put into just bull riding, where the PRCA their money is dispersed throughout 7 other events. Um, and so yeah, you're gonna set yourself up a little bit better probably in the PBR and put more of a name out there for you. But it's completely different, really. There's guys that are in the PRCA that ride better than majority of the guys that's at the PBR. But it's just kind of what they either grew up in or it's just what they like.
Yeah.
It's a totally different lifestyle. And those guys are true warriors. I mean, they get on bulls, every other day. Where we go home Monday through Thursday, get on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Them guys get on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. 5, 6, 7 days a week. And so, with getting older, it was a little bit more easier on my body to come back over here to the PBR.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Actually, I was when I came down to my first PBR event with you guys, I was in awe. I mean, I was in awe of everything, but one of the things that caught me is the bull ropers that just sit there with the border patrol chaps and everything on, and just watching their horse control and their roping abilities, and it was unbelievable.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, if them guys are out there, they're really handy at what they do. What they do. They're out there to get the bull out of the arena, but they're also out there for our safety. So, yeah, them guys are amazing cowboys.
That's crazy. And they travel with the circuit the entire time, correct?
They do. There's 3 or 4 of them throughout, the 50 states that they'll, whatever events are closest to that guy, that's who they'll get. But yeah.
So, obviously, let's talk about the negativity of the sport, and that is getting hurt. And it's as we've dealt with Brunt, we've dealt with snowcross, we've dealt with professional bull riding, NASCAR, and a few others. And what we realize is as the season progresses, you start to lose people due to injuries. And snowcross, for example, a few of our riders are pretty banged up by season end. So, how do you stay healthy? What do you try to avoid? And how do you make it all the way to the end?
Yeah, yeah, it's just, unless, I don't know. I've been super blessed, fortunate, to not have the injuries a lot of the other guys have had. For the most part, I'm pretty healthy. There's a couple things that give me problems, from day to day, but nothing of like a broke leg that I have to sit out, or whatever the case is. Our other BRUNT rider, Casey Roberts, not only does he break his leg, he breaks both legs a couple weeks ago in Dallas. And now he's out for a year or more. So it definitely happens, and it's we've all been there. I've been there, but it's the things I don't like about bull riding are the things that I can't control, and that's the bull stumbling, or when I nod for the gate, that guy messing up, and it causes me and the bull to get in a bind. And next thing you know, he runs down the side of the bucket chutes, clips my leg, and rips it backwards. Those are the things that I don't, those are the things that scare me in bull riding. I trust my ability to know that, for the most part, whatever circumstance I am in, I'm in enough control that I can get myself out of it. Whether or not I make the 8 seconds or not, but I can get myself out of it and get to a safe position.
Now, one of the things I learned with horse handling is you can't show fear because a horse can sense fear. Bulls the same way.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and yes, they are. They are that way. You can probably tell a little bit more in a horse than a bull, but if you put an amateur kid on a bull and put him in the bucking chutes, that bull will act different than if you put a professional guy on him. A guy that knows what he's doing, You can watch the bull, put him in the bucking chutes. The guy that knows what he's doing will get in there. The bull will stand probably more than likely really well, and just stand there ready to go, rather than a kid that has no idea. His heart's beating, the nerves are there. He's stressed out. Now he's, making the bull agitated. Now he's, So yeah, you are right.
So now, how does a guy like Chase Outlaw come back from an injury like that? I mean, it's I watch him. He's in my mind insane, right? Um, but like, is it really for the love of the sport? Is it money? Is it just that's what you love to?
I think he's just insane. No. No, if you knew Chase, you would probably say that. No, it is for the love of it, but yeah, I say it's for the love of it, but it's hard to put in words, We love this. We love riding bulls for the thrill of it, for the adrenaline, for whatever, the conquering the beast. But
Yeah,
this is the way we supply for our family. You know what I mean? And me and Chase we're both 30 years old, 30 plus. We've put in 10, 12, you know, our whole entire life, we've put it into just bull riding. We have
yeah,
no plans. If bull riding ends now, me and Chase would be the first ones gone. I mean, like we're in it so deep that, we have no way of backing out. I
yeah.
mean, it's all or nothing. Whether you're hurt, whether you Chase's an injury, whether he breaks his face, has all these plates and rods and screws and all this done, the first thing that he's thinking of when he gets out of the hospital is, how long do I have until I can get back on? But one, my babies are still eating, the bills still need paid.
Yep.
I have shit to prove. You know what I mean? Like,
One of the things that I from PBR when I was growing up to PBR now, we've now incorporated Brazil, Mexico. We are now pretty much from North America to South America. Do you see this sport being any bigger? Like, are there followings in Europe, Spain? Do you think
I read a thing this morning that the last 4 weeks of the PBR getting aired on CBS is the biggest 4 weeks that we've had ever, or of all times. It's over several million or several million views every Sunday. So
Yep.
yeah, it's definitely growing. And then now they've brought in this whole teams concept, and and everybody, even myself, we weren't sure how it was going to go, but shoot, people can pick a city that they live nearby, support it, rock it, get to know the guys, and it's brought a whole new team concept, and it brought a whole new era of people in. It brought a whole new group of individuals that just like teams and support their locals, support their local teams. So yeah, I think it is growing.
Yeah, and actually you bring up a good point because I know really nothing about teams other than the stuff we've talked about. And what's interesting is like it was a level of discomfort. Like it broke the cycle. This is the way PBR has always been, and some guys liked it, some guys didn't like it, and now we're in our second season, I believe, of teams. Um, and and are you starting to see momentum? Are you starting to see people embrace it a little bit more?
Yeah, for sure we are.
Yeah,
Fans and bull riders. I was one of them. Like and there's pros and cons to both of them. For me, but I like the camaraderie that comes with having that team. You know what I mean? I like building that bond, and I like being able for that guy to look me in the eyes next to me, and and know that I'm about to give my 100% for me, him, my family, his family. It's a totally different feeling that you ever had. And you'll try, way harder, knowing that you're riding not only for me and my girls, but him and his girls. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And you'll see guys try, and you'll see bull rides that you won't ever see in the regular season. Just people just not willing to give up.
Well, one of the cool things that I saw about the sport that I never knew about, and I'll pass it along to our listeners, is until you slap a logo on a bull rider's back, you don't realize how much they do throughout that, event, right? So, you figure as we've watched, our Brunt logo is helping other people get ready, assisting in all sorts of stuff, and we're following it around, we're like, "Holy cow." I didn't realize how much Eli, how much Casey, how much Junior does throughout the events for other riders and supporting other riders. And it was until we put that logo on the back that we got a sense for what an event looks like in your eyes.
Right. Yeah, it's like no other event. I mean, there's no other sport like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yes, we are against each other in a way. We are competing against each other, but in all reality, we're just competing against the bulls. His bull isn't gonna do the same thing my bull is gonna do. So, what it is what it is. What he draws, is what he draws. What I draw is what I draw. Let's just do the best on what we have, and let's enter. Let the best man win in the end. Because today I'll win, tomorrow he'll have a better bull and he'll win, and we. This is a sport where look at any other sport. The number one guy in the world is doing his job correctly less than 50% of the time. So this shit's fucking wrong.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
our best guy in the world, the best football players, only you know just fucking making good plays 50% of the time. You know what I mean? Like, so this shit's tough, and we all understand how tough it really is, and so you're there to help and push each person and every guy, because you just know how hard it really is.
Well, I was looking at the standings for last weekend, and there were 15 riders, and there were only 2 qualifying rides. So that tells you how hard the sport is. And you know, anybody could be on top one day, and it's always a pairing of ability, healthiness, and then the bull itself. Do you go out there and try to choose the nastiest bull, or is it?
Yeah, it just kind of depends on the situation. There's days where, you come back and your very first pick, number one pick, and you have 15 bulls to choose from, and you kind of just slide in there and just pick the one that is the guaranteed stay on, or you come back, eighth or ninth, and the good ones are really picked, and there's a couple just okay, and you just say wing it and pick the toughest one, or you come back 15th or 12th or whatever the last guy in the round, and you have no option, because you get what everybody else did want. So, uh, yeah, it's just different each event. Every time you walk up on that stage, you don't really know what you're gonna pick until it just kind of comes to you.
All right, last bull question, and is there a farm or a region or whatever that produces the most, PBR bulls, or is it really just they pull from everywhere?
Yeah, there's bulls and bull owners and ranches and stock contractors from everywhere and come from all over. From New York to California. There's people raising bucking bulls and anymore it's grown to where it's surpassed the racehorses. There's people that are breeding these things to where nobody will ever ride them. They're cloning them, and the genetics is just unreal of how far they're taking it. And so, but I will say that it seems like the Midwest there, the South, like Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas, Texas, like that, just that area. There's a lot of really, really good bulls that come out of there, and bull riders. But yeah, there just seems to be a lot of bulls.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was funny because what is it, Jalen Swearingen, he comes out in New York. So that's kinda different for a lot of people because 'cause you're thinking Midwest, you're thinking the South.
Yeah, cowboys are everywhere. Yeah, Dalen.
Cowboys are everywhere.
Yeah, Dalen and his family up there, they've raised bucking bulls and put on rodeos, and New Jersey. I've been to rodeos in New Jersey, Maine, Quebec. I mean, it doesn't matter. Southern California, Seattle. I mean, they're
Yep.
everywhere.
Awesome. So outside of everything, it sounds like you have a very busy schedule. But what do you like to do to unwind? How do you unpack from all this?
Yeah, it's been a little while, I guess. I don't know really. No, I'm a dad, and I've really started to really enjoy that. My kids are, 17 months, and they're on the move, and every day it just blows me away, that they're mine and that I created them. It's just, I have twin daughters, so I have two of them. So every day I'm like, holy shit, I have.
You're fucked.
Yeah, holy shit, like, and yeah, no. So I enjoy going home and just eat, whether it's just sitting on the couch watching them play with each other, rolling around on the floor or whatever. I've enjoyed it. But I like roping. I like being horseback. I enjoy working. We just built a house, and we built a little ranch, and and so I enjoy being out there working every day, yeah, I just like being home anymore. Growing up, I never wanted to go home. I just wanted to stay gone, sleep on whoever's couch. I didn't care. Nowadays, I'm on the first flight home.
Hell yeah. All right. So we're at the end of the show. I thank you for being on. This has been awesome. I've got to know a little bit about your story over our meetings, but this was great for our podcast listeners to learn. But if there's any questions, anything you want to throw out there, now's your time to do so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any questions. I got a statement for Eric with Brunt. I got these T-shirts and I love them. I'm needing some more.
All right.
You want them? And I gotta have them.
Well, I'll forward that on to the boss. You'll get some more T-shirts. But hell yeah. Thank you for being on, Eli. This was great, and good luck this weekend.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah. And as a special thanks to our loyal listeners, we're giving $10 off your next purchase of $60 or more at bruntworkwear.com. Use discount code BucketTalk10. That's BucketTalk10.